There are many speculations and belief that Willie Lynch did not write a letter on the process of making a slave due to the language used in the letter. However, this letter theopoetically explained how fear, distrust, and envy were tools used to gain control over enslaved people of color, and particularly women of color. The letter persuasively expresses how important it was for enslaved women of color to trust and depend on not only their master, but all colonizers from Europe, whether English, French, or Spanish. They must love, respect, and trust only the colonizer. The letter explains how after an enslaved woman of color received this particular indoctrination, they would be dependent upon European colonizers, and their offspring would inherit this way of existence. To guarantee that the offspring or next generation of slaves were dependent and submissive to the colonizing race, the primary strategy was to focus on breaking the enslaved woman of color. Quote, "If you break the female, she will break the offspring in its early years of development, and when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you." End quote. By separating her from the enslaved men of color who served as her protector and support system, she now will submit to the will of the colonizer or master. She understood this is how she will survive or exist, and would teach her offspring to do the same in order to self-preserve or experience any sort of happiness. By having enslaved women of color eat from the colonized master's hands, the children would learn to trust and do the same. The children of enslaved women of color never knew their biological fathers because these enslaved men of color were only used to impregnate the other enslaved women of color and then were sent to the next plantation to repeat the process. The only mentor or authoritative figure the next generation of enslaved people of color could rely on was the consistent, religiously traumatizing European colonizer who spoke English, Spanish, or French.